Hi, and today we're going to be looking at the King of Tone and the tones from the King of Tone. I get frustrated with all the King of Tone videos at the moment. There's a lot going on. I have a King of Tone, but prior to buying that, I couldn't actually hear every tone that it could make. It's got quite a few dip switches. So this video is all about the dip switches, how that works, and can you get better sounds from other pedals as well. So I'm going to have a look at the actual King of Tone, how it works, using the dip switches, and then what can you do using other pedals to get a kind of effect that you might want that's just as desirable, really. I find that the King of Tone is one of those pedals that people are spending crazy amounts of money on buying because they take a long time. Mine took about 5 years to come. That list is now about 8 years right now in 2025. I think they are a great pedal. I think there are other pedals you can get that will make you just as happy. So onto the video. So I'm going to be using this Les Paul for some of the tones. It's got PAF, Cream Tea PAF pickups, which are based on the 57 Gold Top. And I'll also be using a single coil guitar. I'll be using this 60s style Telecaster. It's a Squier with Seymour Duncan pickups, and let's just start with the King of Tone in its basic form. So we're going to start the demo with the overdrive and then the boost, and then the overdrive and the boost together. We'll then look at using the overdrive and an overdrive. Then we'll look at a boost and a boost. Then we'll look at the distortion, and then we'll look at distortion and distortion, distortion and boost, distortion and overdrive. And hopefully you'll get a feel for all the things that the dip switches can deliver. So let's start with this demo then. drives. Distortion and boost. Boost and boost with a single coil. Distortion and distortion. Back to original. So there we have it. The King of Tone has some pretty cool sounds in it. It sounds like your guitar, just with different types of clipping. I find that the distortion is a hard clipping kind of, it is genuinely a distortion, but it doesn't add any mid-range. The overdrive is my favourite sound, and then when you add the boost on, it's a really good clean boost, and it really just brings out your guitar. Trying it against the Klon was quite interesting, because the Klon, it was really hard to tell the difference between my two guitars there, whether I had my humbucker guitar or my single coil pickup guitar. I know they have very similar outputs, but this really, the tone really came through. What was quite interesting though is how I managed to approximate the sound using that Mosky Klon copy. Even though this is an entirely different kind of topography, this is a different kind of thing, but it sounded approximately there for a little bit. Is this worth waiting 5 years? No. Would you be happy with a clone of one? The Duke of Tone would be good, or the MXR one, or even the new Chase Bliss. Absolutely. The Chase Bliss pedal would probably be better for everybody's needs, as you can add different ranges of tone to it. It's not just going to increase the gain structure and clip into your instrument, but it would actually be able to add some treble boost in there. This though is an absolute desert island pedal. It's almost like, I like my Fender amps, it's like adding a bit of a Marshall to that. I love the Marshall Blues Breaker, it's one of my favourite pedals, but the fact that you have to have it almost on full to actually get the sound right from unity gain is frustrating, and this actually does give you a little bit more. And even so, having the volume up round about here for my unity gain is still quite a scary prospect, but when you've used a Blues Breaker, this is miles better for that little bit. Some people it just won't be bothered about that anyway, and that's absolutely fine. I get it. It's a really good overdrive. I like the Protein better. and you know, and that's just my own personal taste and what it does to the sound of my guitar, especially on the blue side of the Protein or the Carbon. That is my absolute favourite overdrive sound. But this is a great do-it-all pedal that has that lovely blues breakery overdrive paired with a fantastic volume boost if I need one. And sometimes I'll just use the boost for solos where I want them to be clean and nice and kind of chirpy. So there we go. Not many people tend to do reviews where they play every single sound available, and I can understand why, because it's a faff to change all those dip switches, but I've done it for you. There you go, you can see it for what it is. It would be great if you could subscribe to the channel. We've got 900 subscribers right now, and it'd be great to get to 1,000. Until next time, thank you for watching, and see you next time.